Hello everyone, this is Timothy Mark with Alexandria.
How's everybody doing today?
And we are World Paranormal Research Society. The website is worldparanormalresearchsociety.org. And the Gmail, if you want to write us with any hate mail, negative comments, likes, positive comments, or anything, is World Paranormal Research Society at gmail.com. The YouTube channel is World Paranormal Research Society. And today we're going to talk about the new store that we opened at Etsy. And that store is called Macabre Needful Things. With that being said, one of the first products that we put up was a necklace. And the necklace is a 100% leather rope that has a real glass pendant jar that has a cork on the top of it, and inside that jar we put our own special mixture of red brick dust. Now you can say red brick dust for those of you who know what that's about. Don't know what that's about, Alexander explain that to you in a little bit. But what I would like to say is what sets us apart from the other retailers that's doing the same products. And actually they're not the same products, because we got necklaces and stuff like that. When I say same products, I mean brick dust. What sets us apart is that ours has been blessed through ceremony, and this is stuff that we actually use on real haunted locations that have negative and evil energy inside them. So why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about red brick dust. And by the way, on Etsy, again, the store name's Macabre Needful Things, and it's a red brick dust necklace, and it's only 20 bucks. It's a great deal for y'all, but she'll explain to you the importance that the glass jar has in it, which is red brick dust.
First, I'm very, very excited. We just opened the store yesterday, so we only have 3 items, so just bear with us. We're going to be building and stocking the store with unique and rare items. The name I find is very, very important. Macabre Needful Things. We wanted to name it that way because we didn't want to just be known for having jewelry. We want to bring very rare, unique items. So there could be jewelry, there could be books, there could be a whole lot of different things. So the first product that we had again is the red brick dust pendant, and that's only $20, folks, so that's really a steal. It's really a giveaway. The little glass bottle with the cork stopper is approximately 2 inches, and the leather rope, or it's genuine black leather, is approximately about 21 inches long. So these items are handmade, so each item is going to be unique, slightly different than the rest, and this particular one that we have on the Etsy store is a barrel clasp, and those clasps may vary too. Like I said, we have unique items, we're going to have found items, maybe used item incorporated to the jewelry. So these are one-of-a-kind items, and if you're not familiar with what red brick dust just is...
Hold on for a minute, let me say something before you get into the explanation. With this very first necklace that we're doing, we're only going to do 100 limited edition of these necklaces, so there's only 100 of them. There will be other necklaces in the future. There's only going to be 100 of these, so if you're listening to this, you should get your necklace as quick as possible.
Don't procrastinate and say, well, maybe I'll check it out later today or tomorrow. They're very limited quantities, and that picture that you see up, once it's gone, folks, because we'll never make the same one, or the same product ever again. And again, what red brick dust is, it's a form of protection, but it really has a history that is very, very old, and it's like probably about 32,000 years old. And back when it wasn't just red bricks, but the mineral that we called red ochre. And that is, since the beginning of time, red ochre has been used for protection and sacred properties on it. The ancient Egyptians used that as well. And So indeed, red brick dust derives from the ancient use of red ochre clay for sacred purposes. And for example, medicinal use of red ochre clay is described in Eber's papyrus from Egypt, dating from about 1550 BC. And there's also mention of ochre pigments that were used by Cro-Magnon artists who painted prehistoric cave paintings in southern Europe between 32,000 and 10,000 years old. So that's sort of a history of how old red ochre and then again red brick dust is for protection purposes, and in the spiritual world in regards to, there's another legend where early primitive burials where red ochre clay was smeared or applied to the body or bones of those who have died as a ritual belief that it would help revive them in the spirit world. And perhaps, you know, thinking about that, folks, perhaps that was the beginnings of some of the very early vampire legends on that particular practice. And
what I was going to say was that, again, what differentiates us from any potential people that want to try to copy us or whatever is that we've been in the paranormal field, Alexandria for 30 years, me for 10, and what differentiates us from other people that may try to do this is the fact that we actually use this on locations. We know it works. And ours is blessed under ceremony, whereas then if you just get some that's not blessed and things of that nature. So
we're not just grabbing any random red bricks and smashing them up and putting them in a bottle. It's far, far more important than that. I mean, we have our own location where we hand pick our red bricks. We process them by hand, and like Timothy mentioned, it goes through this spiritual and a secret ritual process where you know, the product is cleansed prior to us using it ourselves in our paranormal investigations, and bottling it in these unique little glass bottles that we're going to be bringing it to you. So what a very unique gift to wear the protection properties of red brick dust around your neck each and every day. So I think it's
for protection, to keep negative things and evil away. So yeah, it's for protection, and it's yeah, it's an awesome gift, actually.
I mean, gift it to yourself, gift it to that person that has everything, or somebody that loves supernatural, paranormal, mythical, magical things. It's a gift that really is timeless, because, you know, I really like the idea that we've used natural products, meaning black, genuine leather that goes around your neck. So it's a really timeless piece. And again, red brick dust, or the idea of red, even in India, the use of red henna is used to decorate the hands and the feet of a bride to keep evil away from her. So red is also has always been associated with blood and with courage as well. So very, very important. And again, you know, ours is spiritually charged by our own methods that we use in our paranormal investigations and our everyday work. So it's just...
So to go into another product that we have, when we're on the topic of red brick dust, what we have for sale on the Etsy store was a jar, a little mason jar of the red brick dust. And so and it's got a mixture in it. So it's red brick dust. It's been ceremonially blessed, and it's got other things in it that we're not going to talk about, but it's very potent, and that jar is for sale for $25. And so you can get the necklace for $20, which contains some red brick dust to wear around your neck, or you can get the little mason jar full of it for $25.
And I think the little mason jar, it is a glass jar again, and the size on the mason jar, it's around 2 1/4 inches high with the lid, that's encompassing the lid, and then it is 1 7/8 inches wide. So it's a very wonderful gift, again, that keeps on giving. And again, it's a popular mineral used for protecting the home and protecting yourself. And there's a lot of uses in regards to you can put red brick dust across the threshold of your home, including windowsills and doorways, to keep evil away, and use it as a form of a protection barrier. So there's a lot of the red brick dust, and again, it is our special mixture in this little cute little mason jar. So there's just so many things that you can do with the red brick dust. It's incredible, where you can protect it, you can keep it, you can put some in a little baggie, you can just do anything you want with it. You can keep some for yourself, you can re-gift it to somebody else, and very limited quantities. Again, we're just not getting bricks from anywhere.
And no, and ours is actually very, very old, and they're not like new. They're just very old. They come from places that we're not going to say on here, but they're very old bricks. They already have a lot of energy in them, and then we take them through the ceremonial process. So the necklace would be awesome to have as a gift. Also, like Alexandria said, we're going to have new items coming into the store. One of the new items that we will have up within a few days would be a bracelet. We'll have a man's bracelet, and we'll have a female bracelet. And so as the time goes on, you will see more and more items on the in the store. But right now, I think the hot item is the necklace, which I would definitely recommend for everybody. The third product that we have up there is a book on Ed Gein. Again, it's called the Macabre Needful Things store. So we'll have other things other than jewelry, and we're going to have awesome stuff on there. So
we're going to have unique, rare things that you may not even think are available out there, because I have an interest in very macabre things that people may think is weird. So you're going to be surprised on the items that we're going to bring to sale for you. And like I said, if you see something, buy it now. Don't wait, because even waiting an hour, that thing is going to be gone. And with Christmas and birthdays coming up, Halloween is going to be coming up. Don't wait to the last minute to have whatever you want to get your hands on the store. So it's really,
plus each item. Well, the book, Ed Gein book's always going to be for sale. So, but the necklace, there's only going to be 100 of those made. That style, there will only be 100 of them made. There will be other necklaces in the future, but you can have something that only at least 100 people in the world will have, because as you know, on Etsy's a worldwide market. So you could be one of a handful of people that have this in the United States alone. So the red brick dust, it will change in design and variation, the mason jar, over time as well. So we try to do rare, exclusive, limited edition products outside of the books, because they're always going to be there.
And pendants, don't think a pendant or a pendant on a leather rope is just to put around your neck. You can actually hang that from your driver's mirror in your car, and it'll protect you when you're driving in your car. So don't think it's just limited to that. I've even seen people have it on their dog collars. They attach it a different way to keep their pets safe. Again, on your car, really anything that you're traveling, Eve, on your bike or whatever, it's just not to go on your neck. So expand your horizons. And even a lot of you that burn candles on a regular basis, red brick dust, you can add a pinch of red brick dust to candles for protection. So it's not just limited to your windowsills, your door. You can make a wash with red brick dust. You can even keep a little bit of it in a baggie in the trunk of your car for protection. So it's just not limited to what we show you can use it for. There's so many different uses for it.
And for the people listening on YouTube, we'll put a link to the store in the description. So if you are listening to this on YouTube, this is not the only platform. We have multiple platforms that this podcast goes out. It goes on Spreaker.com. It goes on iTunes. I was going on Tumblr. I haven't put it on Tumblr lately, but and it's on YouTube. So if you are one of the people looking at it on YouTube, there will be a link to the store in the description below.
And, very excited about this store. Like I said, we've only got 3 products, but this is just the beginning of something huge. So we're going to bring, we're going to save you the hassle of trying to find all these weird, macabre items for maybe that person that has everything. We're going to kind of do that for you and search out unique items. A lot of you may know I like snakes, so there may be things with snakes to come. If you like the paranormal, we do a lot of locations that, we may even pick up things from locations that we may incorporate in jewelry pieces or unique one-of-a-kind items that you can have in your home or you can wear.
I have things from each location that I've done, and they'll be on the store as well eventually. But so yeah, one of the things that I got that I really like is from the Austin Pizza Garden. So it's actually some of the old nails from the 1800s that was in the Austin Pizza Garden. So yeah.
So we're in our items. Click on the items. We're going to give you a description of what these items are on detail. If you have any questions about the items, there's a way to contact us on the shop. We will answer any questions that you may have. This is just a new avenue for us to get out there. Again, we are paranormal researchers. We have been in the field for many, many years. So we thought it would be about time to bridge the gap and bring unique, rare, and macabre items to the people that may not have an opportunity to go on paranormal investigations and may not know anything about these products.
I got some insider information. We'll switch the topic for a little bit here. On the Friday the 13th movie that was supposed to come out, Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller, if you know who Sean Cunningham is, he's the guy who created Friday the 13th. He's worked with Victor Miller through some of the films, and they got into an argument over money. And so that's why, for those people out there who may not know, I've heard this pretty much from someone in the franchise. I'm not going to name their name, but they told me that there was an argument about money. Victor wanted more money, and because of that, the film was canceled. And so hopefully Sean can get it together and get another film out soon. So for all the Friday the 13th fans. What else you want to talk about?
So if anybody has any suggestions of maybe even items that they'd like to see on our Etsy store, because like I said, on our YouTube channel, we have different locations. We are doing podcasts about various topics that you may not be familiar with. But if you have a specific item that you may be interested in, drop us a line. We're always wanting to hear from our fans because, again, this is a very exciting time for us. Like I said, we're branching out. We're expanding into this particular Etsy store. A lot of people out there have asking, why hadn't we done it before? But we're always busy. We're writing books, doing paranormal investigations, so we're always on the go. And now we thought it was the time to branch out into maybe the retail social media market. And
well, we've always been in retail. I've been in retail myself. Since 2008, I've been in retail. I've been on Amazon. I've been in other 500 other stores around the world. And so I really found it really good when Tower Records in California started carrying my films. That was something that was good for me. And then I'm on Barnes & Noble's. We're on Barnes & Noble's website as well, plus Amazon. So we're always been in the retail market. But now, instead of like selling through like a Barnes & Noble's or Amazon, that's when we decided to open our own store and sell that way. Actually, the Ed Gein story, the book, it costs more on Barnes & Noble's and Amazon than it does if you buy it from our store. So it's a great book. Ed Gein was a famous serial killer that they based 3 high-profile films on. One was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Ed Gein was actually Leatherface. They based the movie Psycho. Norman Bates was a character based off of Ed Gein, the real-life Leatherface. And Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs was based off of Ed Gein as well. On the cover of the book, and if you look at the cover of the book in the store, you click on the picture and you'll see the actual face that Ed used to wear. Then it was made out of human skin, and that photo was from the crime scene photo. So yeah.
And you know, a lot of people, when they think of the words unique and rare, they figured, oh, this is going to be expensive. We're trying to make these items affordable so all of you can have it. You can buy one, you can buy two, you can buy multiple. So that's very important, that our fans have the opportunity to you know, have an item that, you know, we use in our paranormal investigations that is not going to be financially out of reach for people to obtain, and to wear that unique thing around their neck, or to have a little mason jar of red brick dust. And a lot of people...
But hold on, let me go back. I thought maybe you'd say something about Ed Gein, but I know we said a lot about red brick dust here, but going back to Ed Gein, there was no Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There was a film called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was based off a serial killer in Plainsville, Wisconsin, which is Ed Gein. So the actual homicides occurred in Wisconsin, did not occur in Texas. And he wore the mask in Wisconsin and not in Texas. So Ed had never been to Texas that I know of. But anyway, so
it's just, you know, it's a book that really falls into the horror genre, the historical genre, because, you know, he's a real person in history that did horrific things. And I think once you start reading the book, you'll see that, you know, he was a real person. He did have challenges throughout his life. I don't want to spoil the topic or the subject of the book, but he was a real life person. And
this book is not for minors at all. I mean, I wrote the book, so it's definitely not a kid-friendly book. So
it's got graphic photographs in there, but that are real crime scene photographs. So I mean, they are graphic and they are gory and they are macabre. So I mean, but that is just real life. That is really what happened. So I think the book, for that horror or history lover in your life, I think that would be a book that they would definitely want to add to their collection, and it would be worthwhile. And let's face it, $7. I mean, that's just that's a cup of coffee and something else. That prices are, you know, cheaper than what it's offered at the other sites that Timothy mentioned. So I think it's a good deal, and now's the time to do, you know, your early Christmas shopping and gifts out there for people out there. So I think it's an opportunity.
Christmas shopping, damn, it's still, what is it? Is it April or
people do it 6-8 months in advance, so they don't have to worry about it, and their budget isn't
well, I'd go ahead and, you know, let's do your Halloween shopping. Ed Gein, the book. Do your do your everyday normal day shopping and get you some red brick dust, because there is evil energy and negative energy out there that takes over us all. So yeah, misery lives within a lot of people, and those people like to spread misery. And so hopefully you will buy the product that will keep misery and negativity from you.
I don't think I'll add anything on that, because why at this time I really don't feel like adding. But you know what? We all have negative forces in our life. The stresses in the world, everyday society.
What, are you taking that personal? Because I didn't say Alexandria is a miserable person that likes to spread negativity on me. Did you take it personal when I said that? I mean, what's going on?
I'm just saying all you do is turn the TV on, the newspaper. All there is misery, fighting, racism, war. There's enough negative things in the world. So, I mean, why not wear that around your neck, red brick dust, to kind of ward off? And, you know, negative attracts negative. So if you can wear something that's spiritually charged, why not? And I mean, at a $20 price point, I think it's a no-brainer gift. I mean, even for yourself, I think you deserve to be surrounded by positivity, so have that around your neck. And like I said, it's just not limited to wearing it around your neck. Put it on your car mirror, have it anywhere. And it's just a very unique, and like I said, ours is hand-picked from a very special location, so you're not just getting run-of-the-mill red brick dust that who knows where it comes from. We know where it comes from, and we know that it's spiritually, magically charged. So we offer products that, you know, we can back up with what we say, and we use it in our everyday work. So we're proud to be able to offer a product that really, really, truly does work. So I think that says a lot in itself, that we can back our products.
I don't know how many people. I'd like to try to get off the promotion of the store topic for a little bit here. Maybe we can do that and talk about other things. So I'm so desperate to get off that topic that I'm pulling out a pre-workout that I've just gotten. And I'll tell you that I was using 5% Nutrition's Kill It, which seemed to work really well. And now I've been given a pre-workout with the name Ghost by Ghost. Well, it's called Ghost Pre-Workout, and I guess it's, I don't know if that's the name of the company or name of the pre-workout, because it says Legend Pre-Workout, and it's a Warhead Sour Black Cherry flavor. And let me tell you something, that thing might as well be a colon cleanser. It seems to work pretty good. So we'll keep testing it and seeing how it works out. But yeah.
To me, it was a little bit too tart for me. I did try a wee bit of it yesterday. It was a little bit too tart. Very sour tasting, but I guess for those that you like sour tasting things, I mean, maybe because I'm not used to pre-workout, so that's probably why I just didn't like that particular flavor. But I mean, I can't really comment it on because I really don't use pre-workouts. So there you go.
It's got the beta-alanine in it. That's the stuff that makes your you tingle. You feel a tingling sensation, but they only recommend taking 2 scoops of it. And I don't feel much tingling except for in the forehead area when I take it. But let's see here, it has it doesn't have a lot of beta-alanine in it. I'm trying to find it right now and I can't find it, but it does have beta-alanine in it somewhere. L-citrulline. Okay, so I can't find it right now, but it's in there. But it does not make, oh yeah, right here, it's only got 2 grams of beta-alanine in it, so it will not make your nuts tingle, but it does make your forehead tingle and your upper body tingle. So horror movies, let's talk about horror movies. So what horror movie would you recommend somebody from the 80s that they should go watch?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, I'm just trying to even think of, I mean, I'm a huge horror fan of the older ones, and I guess horror movies, I don't know if you consider horror movies, but, well, Jaws was in the 70s, so, but there were versions of Jaws in the 80s, too, so I think, let me just go into...
For all of you Marilyn Chambers fans, there was a movie that was filmed in England, and it's called Rabid. And I can tell you that I myself, it was a hard to find DVD. I spent $50 to buy this DVD. And it's a really good movie. And it's called Rabid, R-A-B-I-D. And it stars Marilyn Chambers. But it's definitely a good movie. I like it. And that's one I'd recommend for people to watch out there.
I like The Shining, that's 1980. Or I like The Thing, that's 1982.
And what's The Thing about?
It's just about some creature.
Yeah, it's about a creature. Kurt Russell's actually in that film, and it's about a creature
in remote Antarctica, a group of American research scientists.
And as we know about the stories with Antarctica, everything going up there, there's actually a new show coming on about Antarctica. I don't know if it's on National Geographic or Discovery. It's going to be coming on where they're talking about that lost civilization up there, and they got a team up there. And so, and I seen something on Ancient Aliens not too long ago. But Kurt Russell stars in the film, and what it is it's a thing that jumps from. It can take over people's bodies, much like a demon would. Except this is based on the fact that this is like an alien. And so, yeah, The Thing was a really good movie. Yeah. And they remade it a few years back, and I like the original.
Another one that I like from 1981 is The American Werewolf in London. I'm a huge werewolf fan. And also The Fly was another horror movie in 1985 with Jeff Goldblum. So that was the original The Fly. And of course, Poltergeist came out in 1982.
No. The Fly with Jeff Goldblum was not the original.
Oh, that was the that was the one in the 80s?
That was the one in the 80s.
1986, that's what I'm talking about.
But you said the original. The original one starred none other than Vincent Price. And I actually preferred the original one with Vincent Price over the Jeff Goldblum one. But, yeah.
Yeah, I like the one from 1986. Poltergeist came out in 1982. That was the beginning of that series, as well as Aliens came out in 1986. So Aliens came out with Sigourney Weaver. I really like that particular.
Well, with Poltergeist, there were so many things that happened on that movie set that we'd have to do a whole nother podcast to just talk about the film Poltergeist. And we may do that because there was a lot of real life tragedies that occurred. The little girl in the film actually died, and one of the little girls who was portrayed in the film actually really died in real life at a very young age. And I want to say she was like preteen when she died, or I don't know, she was really young, and because they had to end up replacing her and using another girl that looked the same, the little blonde-haired girl. She died.
And then also Fright Night in 1985. I like that with Roddy McDowell was in Fright Night. That was another favorite.
And Fright Night, and then you had I like a comedy one called The Burbs with Tom Hanks. The Burbs is a comedy film, very funny film. When you said Fright Night, I thought I confused that for a minute with Salem's Lot, because Ron Milkey from the Friday the 13th franchise was actually in Salem's Lot 2. And did you ever see Salem's Lot 2?
I've seen all of the Salem's Lot. That's Stephen King. I really enjoy that, so that was good. And I also like the original Fog movie, 1980. That was the good movie for me.
And who starred in that one?
All I remember is Adrienne Barbeau, and there was a bunch of other people in the Fog.
Jamie Lee Curtis was in that film, I believe. Am I right?
Yeah, she is. The Howling series.
I'm just asking if I'm right or I got it confused.
Yeah. The Lost Boys in 1987 as well. That was another movie with Kiefer Sutherland, a bunch of other people about vampires.
Robert Patrick was in. Was Robert Patrick playing that movie, or was that another guy that looked like Robert Patrick?
I think it's him. I'm not positive.
Hold on, let me do some research, folks.
Also, Pet Sematary, 1989, Stephen King as well. I like a lot. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, so a lot of Stephen King movies came out. Then there was Christine Again, came out in 1983. That's another Stephen King. Then we have Nightmare on Elm Street. That was 1987. And another Stephen King. I keep harping on Stephen King, but 1983 was Cujo.
Jason Patrick's the guy, not Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick. Jason Patrick's the guy that starred in The Lost Boys. It was a really good movie. It actually starred Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. And we do know that Corey Haim died, a few years ago. So, yeah. And
another werewolf movie that I really, really like, Stephen King again, came out in 1985, was
Which one?
Silver Bullet. And I forget who the actor is in there. We just seen him on Buddy Holly. I can't remember.
Gary Busey.
Yeah, he was in Silver Bullet. I really enjoyed that show as well. There was just so many awesome movies, horror movies that came out in the 80s. Again, Children of the Corn, 1984. They Live, 1988. Just, on and on and on. A lot of Stephen King movies. The Changeling came out as well.
We do know. What year did The Changeling come out?
Came out in 1980.
Came out in 1980. Guess what? That was a Doors song called The Changeling, and it was on the record L.A. Woman. And I'm guessing that movie was based off the song.
It could be. And then The Return of the Living Dead was 1985. So Child's Play came out.
Return of the Living Dead sucked. The Living Dead was great. It was very controversial, and it broke a lot of stereotypes, and it broke a lot of the original Living Dead pissed off a lot of people. The original Night of the Living Dead, the Night of the Living Dead 2 just sucked, man.
For all you fans out there of furry, creepy crawler kind of things, Gremlins came out in 1984, so that was a huge fad that came out for Gremlins. And of course, Hellraiser, Pinhead came out in 1987.
And the guy that plays Pinhead in the last Hellraiser movie, he refused to. He was trying to hold the film hostage, and his friend was actually the guy making the movie. And his friend said, "Well, fuck you, I'm going to film it anyway." And they've casted another guy to play Pinhead in the last Hellraiser movie. So, yeah.
But that was another series that I really, really enjoyed. And again, a lot of horror movies came out in the 1980s. I think that was even you know, a lot of that was the best time I think for me movies in regards to horror in the 1980s. So
Okay. Well, let's tell a story then. When you were a little girl, let's go back to when you were a little girl. What movie just scared the shit out of you that you watched?
oh, it's just the first Jaws movie came out, and that was actually I can't remember how old but I was small at that time, and we were planning a trip to Nova Scotia, and I've been a swimmer since a very very young age. I got my lifeguard certificate I think before the age of 11, so I was and I was doing swimming in school where I was a fast endurance swimmer. I wasn't much for speed, but I could tread water longer than anybody else, and we used to do contests about treading water because I was the best at it. And being my dad is also a championship swimmer as well, and I had seen the movie Jaws, and my parents were really peed-old that we drove thousands of miles to go to the ocean. The first time I actually seen the ocean, and my dad jumped in the ocean and had his hands up saying, "Okay, where are you, kid?" And I flat out refused to go in the ocean because I thought I'd be eaten immediately by this monster shark that was in Jaws. I mean, mind you, my dad got, I think, attacked by jellyfish, but that at a young age really horrified me, and I still have a fear of sharks or being eaten alive by a shark.
And I'll tell you that Psycho was the one that screwed me up. Halloween's the one that scared the shit out of me, with Jamie Lee Curtis, the original one, but Psycho screwed me up where I could not take a fucking shower for years. I think after I seen Psycho, and I'm talking about the 1960s version Psycho, I seen it in a rerun on television, of course, but after I seen that film, it was like 5-6 years later before I could take a shower. I was stuck to just the bathtub.
Wow, that's horror can affect people on different levels. And another movie that kind of, I was a bit older at this time when the original Exorcist came out, and that I think after that movie came out, I had to sleep with the lights on for over 2 weeks because it just jarred something. Many of you know I'm an empath, that dead people come to me to communicate, but this one really screwed me up on so many levels.
Yeah, The Exorcist was a very good movie, and it was a movie that was, the story was about a little boy, and in the movie they made it a little girl. But you know, and let's tap into that for a little bit. I had a conversation with you about singers that get a pass on fucking young teenage girls, like Billy Idol. He wrote a song called Sweet 16, and when I brought that up to you yesterday about how society had accepted these older men writing these songs about these young 16-year-old girls, what was your response?
In society, I mean, people have to realize that girls begin puberty maybe, or they have their first menstrual period at age 12. In a lot of societies, I'm not saying it's right. Please don't confuse what I'm saying as saying I advocate for it or I think it's right. I don't think it's right. But girls develop faster these days with probably the hormones that are in with milk. And you know, I was the first one in my class to wear a bra at age 12. And I mean, you know, biologically our body is set up to have our first period at age 12, so that means that you can technically reproduce at that age. So society is telling us no, you're still a little kid, but there's a lot of cultures out there that children age 12, it's acceptable once they first have their first period that they can be married at that particular time because they can biologically reproduce.
I just think it's wrong that singers seem to get, or entertainers and singers seem to get away with this shit, like because you have Billy Idol, Sweet 16, you had Jerry Lee Lewis, who was, God, I guess Jerry Lee Lewis was pretty old when he married his cousin who was 12 at the time. And that's some hillbilly shit right there, man. I'm from the South, but I ain't never seen no shit like that right there.
Well, I mean, like I said, society has put different restrictions on us on what some person deems is right and wrong. And like I said, way, way back, hundreds of years ago, I mean, age, I don't think age had that huge stigma or restriction on it because biologically, in the animal kingdom, I think they don't worry about age or whatever. Once you can reproduce, you're viable.
But we're humans, and so you try to protect children until they get to the age of 21, especially young girls. You want them to get to the age of 21 first, not be fucking at 16. So I know if I had a daughter, she would not be fucking until she was 21. And there's no way in hell I would let my daughter. I would have like a leash on her until she was 21.
Well, there's a lot of peer pressure out there with a lot of bullying and stuff, and you are not going to be
Send
in
them to the convent.
Well, you're not going to be in the in group if you don't have sex with boys and you don't develop a reputation. So, I mean, let's face it too. I mean, if you're sexually experienced, I think boys like it better. I mean, that's just a perspective. When I was in school, if you weren't sexually experienced, you were a nerd.
Well, I'm not basing it on when I went to school. I mean, I'm basing it on like how I would be now as a father. And how I'd be now as a father is I would not want, I mean, you don't need to rush out and have sex and get pregnant quickly. Like some of these, they got an MTV show on now called Teen Mom where they just glorify teen pregnancy.
Yeah, but some people do it for a monetary. They can remain in the system collecting welfare taxpayer money, and they just are in Canada. There's people that are in the system. They're called baby makers. And why get a real job when you can just spew out kids by multiple fathers, and the government just supports you and your kids for the rest of your life? So it's a business for them.
And that's where condoms will come into use, because if you can hold your cum and you're doing a chick, instead of getting her pregnant, put on a condom, and then just, if you absolutely got to come outside of the condom, just pull it out and do it, but not inside. I mean, safe sex is very important in today's world. So,
well, there's a lot of STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and AIDS to worry about as well. So it's just not the simple fact of getting somebody pregnant. You could have, you could end up with a death sentence by, having sex with multiple partners not being protected.
That's right. So I know we've been rambling on different subjects like horror movies, sex, and inappropriate behavior by because you had Billy Idol, you had the band Kiss. Kiss sung a song about a 16-year-old girl, but everybody was shocked and made a big deal about when R. Kelly slept with a teen girl. And yeah, it was wrong when he did it, but it was also wrong when Billy Idol did it and when Kiss did it. So,
these are just people, I think.
And Jerry Lee Lewis. That chick was 12. If I'm not mistaken, he married his cousin when she was 12 years old. I don't understand.
I don't know either, but I mean, in some societies, even backwater or places that don't have contact with the outside world as much, it's not frowned upon because who's going to know about it? So, there are laws in different states and different countries that don't adhere to what society thinks is right or wrong. So,
with that being said, we were listening to some. Here's another off the subject. We not really one subject today, but we're going to talk about music a little bit, and some of the music. One of the things that we were having a debate on yesterday was music, as far as American artists versus foreign artists. Foreign being anybody that wasn't from America, and we do know that in America, blues and rock and roll was discovered. But what about, and you brought up heavy metal, and heavy metal was discovered by, the first heavy metal band would be Black Sabbath. So that was from England.
Yeah, a lot of heavy metal came from England, as well as different places in Europe, like Germany. So I mean, they can have that bragging rights that heavy metal really did start with Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. So then coming to America, rock and roll, and then we have the Beatles that were rock and roll.
But that was after we invented it. You can say we invented it And there's a debate on if Elvis was the first or Little Richard was the first, but there's a debate on that. But Elvis is credited as the first, and I'm not really an Elvis fan, but I would say that Elvis invented rock and roll, and the Beatles perfected it. And I would say that not just the Beatles, but also the Monkees and other groups, the Rolling Stones, they perfected this stuff. And so with heavy metal, it was invented overseas outside of America, but yet American artists perfected heavy metal. Because you look at Metallica, Motley Crue, Rat, you got so many heavy metal, Cinderella, so many heavy metal groups that perfected heavy metal, whereas rock and roll was really perfected overseas. If you think about Led Zeppelin, you think about, and I'm not a Led Zeppelin fan either, but you think about Led Zeppelin, you think about the Rolling Stones and Beatles.
So yeah, that's, I guess what you said is right, that it was really started in America and then perfected by other people that were coming to America to seek fame and fortune, because that's really where the dollar signs were coming from, the fan base in America. And a lot of these people that came over from Europe really became ultimately more famous when they hit the American stage and they were accepted by the American audience.
Yes. And I think we were talking about people that we may... Alright, think about it. Like when you were a kid, who are some people that you had a crush on, either in the movie, television, or music business? Who did you have a crush on, and who did... Now I'm talking about when you were a kid, not when you were grown, and somebody who's similar and things. I'm talking about when you were a kid. Like, who did you have a crush on that did not age so gracefully?
Well, I don't know. The only people that I really had a crush on really is like, but he died young, was Andy Gibb and then the Bee Gees. I was at the age where Andy Gibb just came out, and I had his LPs or whatever, and then he died tragically, and then I listened to the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb, and all that, because my mom, it was always in the house too. So I just thought, okay, this is great. Went to go see Saturday Night Fever, and then Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. I have those LPs, so that's kind of things that I guess maybe because they were foreign or something, I don't know, it was just strange. It had that allure for me. And then it was just a passing fad kind of a thing. I had posters in my bedroom of Andy Gibb and the Bee Gees when I was growing up. That's prior to high school, but that's really the only ones. I don't know if they've aged gracefully, non-gracefully. They've aged.
What we were talking about was we seen a show that Eddie Money has coming out, and you said, "Wow, he sure didn't age gracefully." And I said,
I liked at the time when he was famous at that age. He had a certain look. He wasn't gorgeous or whatever, but he had this kind of weird, quirky look. But his hair now is white now, and I guess that's what throws me off. He looks just kind of horrific to me. No disrespect. I'm getting old too. I'm not aging well myself, but I can't criticize other people. It's not fair. But he just looks so different than when he was famous, more famous, or starting out, is what I was trying to say.
I would say, like, one of my people that, as a kid, and we're talking about as a kid, because I was only like 13 years old or 14 years old when she came out, was Lita Ford. And to look at her today and to listen to her talk today, she's she's white trash to me, as a kid, you didn't see that, and I don't know if she was white trash back then, but I know that she's matured into white trash. And so, yeah, wow, man, that was a shocker to me. So, yeah.
Well, people age differently depending on their lifestyle and how they live their life, and it's genetics too. We don't we only can deal with the cards that we are dealt with, and we can only work out so much, have plastic surgery so much, but you really can't change father time.
Well, speaking of plastic surgery, look at what Mickey Rourke did. He really screwed himself up with plastic surgery.
He looked his best when he was in Angel Heart. To me, he looked okay. And
Angel Heart, 9.5 Weeks with Kim Basinger, Johnny Handsome, those films, yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Harley Davidson and the Motorcycle Man. But now he looks like shit. Because of the plastic surgery.
He just looks awful. I mean, it's a shame when people think they're trying to better themselves, and even with Botox in their lips and stuff, and they just look horrid. And they spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and the results are grotesque.
I can't say that I won't never try any of that stuff, but you know, when it hits me, it hits me. So, but I can say Mickey Rourke tried it at way too young of an age, and it messed him up. So did Vince Neil. Vince Neil just looks weird now after his plastic surgery. But okay, what other topic can we ramble on about right now?
I think we just pretty well covered everything in recent terms that we've been discussing.
Well, yeah, I know we're just rambling today. Tomorrow's going to be our Easter show, so in tomorrow's show we'll get way more in depth and we'll stick on one topic. Today, let's go back to our store, Macabre Needful Things, and it'll be in the link below if you're watching this on YouTube. So yeah.
Take out, like I said, we've only got 3 products. We just started yesterday, so like I said, if you see something that you like on the shop, don't hesitate. Please buy it when you see it, because very limited quantities of the stuff that we're going to have out there. So don't be disappointed. And everything is handmade, unique, so everything slightly differs from what you may have got previously.
Except for the books, they're not handmade, they're machine made, but everything else is handmade. Yeah. So any news going on that we need to talk about besides Trump firing the VA guy and trying to make the VA system better?
Well, I have my own personal belief on that I don't think his personal doctor can make something better. I mean, I don't know what his qualifications are. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn without doing the research, but I was shocked at that announcement, because you know, I don't know how somebody that's not familiar with the inner workings of that organization can make it better.
Let me ask you this: was it so wrong? Because the Stormy Daniels thing happened a few years ago. It didn't happen like recently. So it happened a few years ago. Is it wrong that he slept with Stormy Daniels?
He's a man. I mean, I don't know if I guess he was married at the time. I
don't know if he was married when it happened or not.
He seems to have, and actually I've read in the news recently that he had a thing for his own daughter.
That's a damn lie.
I've read that on several different news platforms that he was obsessed with his own daughter.
Man, I don't believe that shit.
Why not?
Yeah, let's ask Roseanne Barr about that.
He seems that he's a sexual predator, and he's very.
No, he ain't no damn sexual predator. He went out and he paid for pussy, and that's what he got, and there you go. He wanted a porn star, and he got a porn star, so there you go.
Okay, well, I mean, I have different views on when you're married. You shouldn't be doing that thing, but I guess mine are just too old-fashioned for that.
No, yeah, I'm agreeing with you that when you're married, you should not be doing those kinds of things. But I think when you're a billionaire, I think those rules kind of go out the window.
Oh, so if you have more money, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Sorry, I don't subscribe to that. Money doesn't give you a free pass to do all this despicable behavior.
Well, I mean,
so you hear that, folks? Money does not give you a free pass to be a pervert, pedophile, or anything.
Well, everybody's a pervert. That's one thing.
Okay,
everybody's a pervert.
Don't put everybody in one lump. Not everybody's a pervert.
Oh yeah, you're a pervert.
I don't think I am.
Oh yeah, you are. We can go back to your Facebook before January of 2016. We can go back to your.
I don't think I'm a pervert.
Go back. Oh well, yeah you are. Yeah you are.
Well, I don't think I am.
Everybody has a little bit of pervert in them. Everybody.
Okay, well I won't comment on that.
And so, but what I am saying is that with Trump, he's a billionaire. Look at his wife. She's never smiling. She seems to always be down. And maybe he just got tired of that shit. Maybe he wanted a cheerful, positive experience with a porn star or whore.
Well, then I guess if people are seeking a positive experience, they need to do what they need to do, I guess. I mean, I don't think that highly of him, but I mean, people have to do what they have to do to be happy.
But maybe that was a sore subject to touch on, because I just thought, so your answer would be no, it's wrong for him to have slept with Stormy Daniels, right?
If he's married, yes.
And I agree with that. I agree.
That's where
I agree that if you're married, you should not do those types of things. I agree with that. However, I think when you reach a billionaire status, I think those rules kind of go out the window, because In Judaism and other religions around the world, you look at King Solomon, he had 500 concubines and so many wives or whatever. I think when you reach a billionaire status, that you could put wives in other countries.
I guess that's true. I don't subscribe to that notion, but everybody has their opinion. That's not, I don't believe in that. To me, morality is morality, and it doesn't matter how many dollar signs you have on your bank account. It can't change what's right and what's wrong. And that's just my opinion. So everybody will have their own opinion, but that's not my opinion.
All right, folks, so we're going to wrap it up today. Check out Macabre Needful Things on Etsy.com. Again, the link will be in the description below. And yeah, so that's going to be it. Tomorrow will be our Easter show, so look forward to that. We're going to go really into historic detail on that one.
Take care, everybody.
Yep, bye.